And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, January 31st, 2015. This is Season 9, Episode 5. I'm Scott.
I'm Dennis.
I'm Matt.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Nathan.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome back, me. And
welcome back.
welcome back, me.
Good seeing you.
Yeah. I am under the weather. This happened pretty much late last night. Before going to bed, I was like, I feel like I might be getting sick. I feel a little something.
Hasn't this happened every time you come back from a trip?
Yeah, but I've been back from the trip since Monday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, I've been
a little
back
late for it to get confirmed.
Right, yeah.
It's not Ebola, right?
No, not Ebola.
It'd be measles.
I did go to Texas, but it is not Ebola.
All right.
So, yeah, it happened last night. I felt it, and I took some medicine and went to sleep, and I've just been nothing but dragging all day today. I honestly had plans to do a lot. Yeah, we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and give the rundown of everything that we have for you to know about. If you'd like to get in touch with us, here is our phone number. It is 334-272-9228. That number again is 334-272-9228. Nathan is in the booth over my shoulder here. He waves, and he'll be your operator for this evening. So call up and talk to him, and then talk to us if you'd like. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at ingamechat. You can find us on Facebook, same name, ingamechat. You can email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. And we are streaming on Twitch. Head over to twitch.tv, search for In-Game Chat, and you'll be able to watch all of us. You'll be able to join the chat room and chat with everybody who is in there. Hey, everybody in the chat room. I'll do a chat room roll call a little bit later on. Yeah, all that happens live while we broadcast. A lot of fun. You should do that. Hey, apologies for not having last week's show up and ready yet. Obviously, getting back from the trip and then trying to coordinate to get all the necessary things that were needed took a little bit. The show is ready to go, and so whenever it does get posted, which will likely be tonight or tomorrow, just know that when you see an update that something's come through, it will be last week's show, not tonight's show. That's mainly for the listeners of the live show right now. But yeah, we'll get that posted so you guys can have that. You'll probably get, and then on what day do we post? Tuesdays or Wednesdays?
I think Tuesdays.
Tuesdays, yeah. And then on Tuesday we'll have this show ready to go. So, assuming I'm not dead, but I don't think that'll happen.
I hope not.
Well, last night I really wished for it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, I got back from PAX and I was fine. I was fine coming in on the flight. Our flight got delayed coming back, but luckily it was the layover getting back into Montgomery and not the layover to catch our flight, or not our initial flight out, so that we would have missed our flight back to Montgomery. But the flight was delayed in Dallas, and which was not a problem. We were supposed to get back at 5, got back at 8.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all, and I was fine. I was fine Monday, I was fine Tuesday, I was fine Wednesday, I was fine Thursday. I was fine all day yesterday for the most part. And then I went exercising yesterday, and this is where
see, there's your mistake.
I know. This is where I actually, and legitimately, this is where I think it actually happened, because yesterday was not very cold weather. I think 50-something. It was very,
around that temperature.
Yeah, it was, but it was really, really windy. And I was bundled up.
Very windy.
I was bundled up, except nothing was bundled on my head. I had nothing on top of my head. I had nothing around my ears. I had nothing around my face or anything like that. I was completely exposed. And I did a 5-mile walk. And so that was about an hour and a half in some winds and just moving. And I think really that's where it probably happened. That's where it took place. Plus, I haven't been getting a lot of sleep lately. I've been staying up way too late than I should. And So that probably has some factors into it. I think, honestly, I think I should probably feel a lot worse than I actually do right now. But I had all sorts of plans. I was going to play Dying Light. I was going to play. Nathan got me a copy of Insurgency, which, from everything he tells me, is really exciting, and I want to play it. And you can play it co-op, and we should definitely do that. And so,
Is that on? Did you get that on Steam?
he gifted a copy of it to me on
Okay.
Steam.
I've got that on Steam as well.
Yeah, how many players can do co-op with it, Nate?
The servers I kept going on, everyone wanted to do 6. They would kick you after, but you can do up to 8.
Why would they kick you after 6?
Because 8 becomes too easy, and
Oh.
they don't just adjust the server. I guess
Gotcha.
they couldn't change it, so they just kept it at
So
6.
really, so just 6. So 6 people, six player co-op.
Yeah, and so
That's fantastic.
So what you were doing was, like the one mission I was doing, you had about 6 objectives throughout the city, and you had to either blow up things or capture points, and then waves of enemies would just kind of come at you, and they don't hesitate to fire RPGs at you and bomb rush you in certain areas. It's real fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, I look forward to playing
Sounds like it.
And I appreciate the gift, and I'm sorry I haven't done anything with it, but thank you. So yeah, I had planned on doing that last night. I had Dying Light, and I planned on playing that. And my other plan was like I would get up this morning and I would do more of that, because I haven't played a game in 2 years, for what it feels like. But with the exception of like the Evolve Alpha, which I didn't even get to talk about because we had the show right after that. But I was out in PAX, so.
I made up for you.
Did you? Did you guys talk about it?
I tried to. I didn't go too deep to it.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't much to go too deep with. I mean,
Yeah.
It was beta. Had a lot of fun. I'm still looking forward to getting that game and playing it. So,
I just said it's a fun game that I don't plan on buying.
yeah. No, and that's you're totally fine with that. I'm looking forward to it because I have a lot of fun when I play it. For me, team-based co-op is a lot of fun for me, and I enjoyed playing with Drew, and I enjoyed playing with you, and I know there'll be a few other people who will be out there playing it as well on PC, and so it'll be fun to team up and do that. So, I mean, I look forward to that. I also look forward to hopefully getting it very cheap.
See, if you find a deal and get it cheap, I'll get it with you.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
I would consider.
You want to do a Titanfall?
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
let's do a Titanfall.
I'll get my pesos ready.
Yeah, let's do a Titanfall on that.
Yeah, I don't know about buying it full price.
Well, the reason I got Dying Light so cheap was because Steam was selling these 4-packs of Dying Light.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were doing the 4-pack deals.
Huh. How much was the 4-pack? Like
I don't know. I just know what I paid, which was way below retail.
Okay.
Massively below retail. In fact, the route I went, I don't think you can go anymore because I think they blocked that. Not illegal, by the way. I'm not saying it's anything illegal.
His code fell off the back of a truck.
Somebody sold me a legitimate copy of the game. It is on Steam. I have it. It's legitimate. It really is. I just paid way under retail for it.
He met them in a shady alley.
There's a great subreddit called Software Swap, I will tell you that.
All right.
Check that out. Software Swap on Reddit. Be careful with that, but check it out. Not saying anything's stolen, but I mean, obviously, if you're buying from individual sellers and not retail sellers or anything like that, they can easily just say, "Okay, send me the PayPal money." You send it, and then they don't give you anything.
Yeah.
And then they're gone. So I mean, that's with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just be careful with that. So, but no, this was completely legit and worked out, and so yeah. So if Evolve happens to pop up like that, I will let you know, Nate. But yeah, I had plans to do all of that stuff, and just this under the weather feeling. I stayed in bed all day. In fact, James came over to bring me the 2 cameras that we have set up and the audio cable because he had used them last week while I was out, and I was in bed when he sent me the message at like 12:30 saying, "Hey, I'm here," and so got up, walked out in my pajamas, grabbed them, came back in, and went straight back to sleep. I've just been slugging all day, and so I've got nothing on my list that I have played recently, with the exception of PAX, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that in one of the other segments. Right now, I don't know what you guys have been doing lately because I missed last week's show, but I will start with Nate, who's in the booth. What's been going on, man, with you, Nate?
In the booth.
Turn your mic on, Nate.
My bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Thought I hit it. I didn't push it all the way down.
Right.
I've been I've put about 6 to 8 hours into Dying Light. I'm about 28% into the campaign. At least that's what the percentage thing said. That's where most of my focus been, and then I've also been playing Insurgency, like we were talking about. I don't know. Do you want me to tell you about my opinion about Dying Light, or do you want to save that for?
No, I mean, go ahead. No,
Okay.
I mean, because regardless of whether I played, look, I I have minimal risk involved in that game right now for the amount of money I paid for it.
Same here.
You know how much I paid for it.
Yes.
Yes. Well, you're doing the Blockbuster, not
Yeah.
Blockbuster. You're doing the Best Buy thing, aren't
Yes,
you?
correct. So
Yeah. So you paid $47 for it,
correct.
and you'll get $43 back. So you'll be out like $4.
Well, and it was that was under one of the $10.
Right. So you're getting $10 on top of that. So
Yeah.
really, yeah, that's
so-
nice.
But
So yeah, no. But we deserve to be talking about it. That was the big game that released, and we should know everything about it. I will start out saying that I was very hesitant to go that route that you did, because of it seemed like it had a wonky release.
I would say it had more issues on PC side than console. Glitches wise, I've had nothing.
Yeah.
I've frame rate never had an issue. I mean,
Well, it's one of those things, and I never like this to sway my thinking about it. But I heard a lot of sites were like, "Oh, we didn't get review copies yet. They haven't sent those out."
Yeah.
You get a little nervous when that happens,
Well, I mean, they did that with Shadows of Mordor as well. So
and that turned out fine.
exactly. So, and honestly, I could care less about review websites. Typically,
Right.
I want to play it myself.
But
Make up your own mind.
everything goes back to
Well, I mean, the only reason you get nervous about it is when you pre-order it. If you wait a few days, like people should,
yeah.
then you don't have a problem because then people are posting reviews left and right.
exactly. But no, so my experience so far, the story's been much better than Dead Island. I even though I know Dead Island was a bad game, had a bad release. Did any of you guys play that?
Oh yeah,
I played a little bit of it.
A little
Never-
bit of it, yeah.
Own it. Never played it.
Okay. Shocker.
I have that one and I guess Riptide.
Yes. Yep.
That's in my life. I haven't
Own
played
it.
the
Haven't
Riptide.
played it.
But yeah, I played that and I liked it. It definitely had issues and it didn't keep me enticed enough to ever beat it. I played about most of it, but I never beat it.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
But this is definitely an improved on it. The parkour is pretty smooth. It's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Sometimes it kind of glitches. Sometimes he doesn't always grab on to certain things, but that's only happened to me maybe 2 or 3 times, so it's pretty rare. One thing that's been pretty cool so far is, like I said, I'm about 27% in, and for the first time I picked up a weapon, meaning gun-wise. Had plenty of bats and
Melee,
Yeah.
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, but the first time I've picked up a gun, which is
The development team loves not giving you weapon like firearms.
Which is fine with me.
They love the melee.
yeah, it's fine with me. And which the gun I only had 5 rounds in it, so I haven't even really.
Does the gun deteriorate? Degrade as well?
I only have 5 shots.
Just runs out of ammo.
Okay,
In Dead Island, did guns deteriorate?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
I don't
I
play
really
hardly
having a
use them. I
gun
don't
that
recall them
much.
doing it.
I wouldn't think so. I would think
I don't think
I would
they
think the thing with guns would be your deterioration would be just you're out of ammo, time to pick up other ammo or use something else.
Correct.
They'd probably have it where it'd be both. That'd be terrible.
Yeah. But no, I've enjoyed that aspect. For multiplayer, how you can set it up to where at any time when you're playing, all of a sudden you just get queued in to do, and basically it's like a Evolve style. How it works is there's 4 people and 1 zombie, and the 4 people are trying to take out these.
Is this the Be the Zombie mode?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're trying to take out, I think there's 6 nests, but to take out the nest, there's 2 things in each nest that you have to destroy. And everything turns into nighttime once that starts. So he has the cover of night, but you get UV flashlights. And how you work, you just kind of shoot them with your UV, and then it kind of blinds them for a few seconds. And then if you hit him for like 4 or 5 seconds with the UV light, it kind of stuns him, where he can't really even move, and then you can just kind of beat him and kill him.
Yeah, and the Be the Zombie mode is a different thing from what Nathan's describing.
Oh.
It's the one where you can go into another player's game and play one of the zombies.
Well, I mean, this is one of the.
But this is like a specific co-op mode, right?
No, this is like multiplayer. Like one person's a zombie and 4 people are hunters, basically.
Yeah, but the Be the Zombie mode is that the Be the Zombie mode? Or?
I thought that was.
No, my understanding was Be the Zombie was the drop in Dark Souls style to another player's game.
I haven't done that then.
I still want to just drop in on your game and just like zombie-fy you or whatever. That'd be fun.
I'll make sure I have ammo. So. Yeah, but yeah, so that was pretty fun. It's just like Evolve. Like I said, there's one hunter, and he's trying to prevent you.
Mm-hmm.
And if the hunter's good, he can, or the zombie, if he's good, he can wipe out the group pretty easily. And the group only has 10 lives. So once everyone dies once, everyone loses.
Yeah,
one
it sounds a bit like the ODST firefight.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Then the aspect of playing at night, just in general, was pretty neat. Once you got to unlock your little safe havens. It's pretty easy to not deal with night situations. You can get to a thing and go to sleep. But there has been a couple missions where you have to do it at night. And the first time I did it, it was raining, so I couldn't see anything, and it was already nighttime, and it was horrible. I had to sleep and go back to nighttime.
Okay.
I hear night gives you like some buffs for like speed and strength.
Yeah.
Experience bonus, I think is what I read.
Yeah, and during the day, to kill a zombie, it takes about 6 hits with any weapon to kill them. As of where nighttime, you can kill them like 2 or 3. But once you get better weapons, it becomes harder, or easier. But
takes forever just to kick them to death too.
Well, I've never even tried to kick them
really
to death.
That's what I've been doing. Since with the weapon deterioration, I've mainly been using the kicking.
Oh,
and then
the weapons are too precious for you to use.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, see, I don't have that issue. I'm always selling my weapons because I have so many of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I find them everywhere. You can find them on zombies drop them. They'll be holding them.
Yeah, sometimes. But like I don't want to be in a situation where I'm being surrounded and I need something and it's all my weapon have deteriorated and everything broke. So I'll just go around. I got the slide kick.
Yeah.
Where you break the legs, and also the jump kick, and that the slide kick actually can and on occasion does a 1-hit kill. Sometimes, which has been pretty nice.
Excuse me. Not necessarily the builds that I played, but I played it at PAX Prime a couple of years ago. Not last year, but the year before last, 2013, I think. I played it at PAX Prime, which was the first time I'd ever played it. And then I played it again at E3 this past year. The first time I ever played it, the controls were really off on me. I didn't like how the controls were. You could not change the way the controls were laid out on the thing. Yeah. I knew that you could once it was released.
Was it on console or a PC setup?
It was on a PC setup, but I was playing with a controller.
Okay, because I wish I could remap some of the controls on my on the PS4.
Can you not remap controls?
They just basically go between
way back when they told us we'd be able to. Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So you can swap it up for left-handed people, but because the way it is now, the L2 is like on the PS4 that's like your throwing item or the flashlight or stuff like that. I want to swap that with the L3, for running. Have like I ideally would want.
You want Assassin's Creed controls?
Yeah, run on the trigger,
yeah.
And then if I need to throw something, just click the L3, but it won't let me.
Well, I'm curious how PC will let me do that. But yeah, I had a problem with the controls, but they assured me that was. But the focus that they were showing me was it was a daylight scenario where I went around and set traps all over the place.
Yeah,
that's in the beginning.
And then he switched it to where, okay, now it's nighttime and you've got to get from this point to your safe house. Remember where you set your traps, go through there, and I would, activate them as I went. It was done horribly. But yeah, so...
Yeah, running at night, you can usually avoid everything pretty easy. But if you do get caught, and it's not really worth fighting the guys at night, just because they're pretty hard to kill, and they'll group up on you quick. So I just run past.
That's what they were telling me as it was getting dark. It's like you don't want to be out at night. You just because once when nighttime kicks in, then stealth starts. That's when stealth kicks in. During the daylight, it's run, kick. Whatever, set your traps, it's fine. You're actually, from what I understood, your biggest threat were other humans in the daylight part of things. Not other zombies, but other humans. But at nighttime, that's when you need to be slow and sneaky,
Yep.
or just stay at your safe house until, of course, a mission forces you to do something at night, which I always hate when they force you to. But
Well, I don't mind it because if it didn't do that, I would never deal with night.
right,
because I wouldn't want
exactly,
to.
exactly.
The UV light traps and also the UV light, that only works at night, correct?
Yeah, I mean you can trigger them during the day, but they don't want to do
It
it.
doesn't,
No
seem to
effect,
do
yeah.
anything.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
UV light.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything at night or during the day, because their eyes won't be adjusted. Yeah.
Well, it burns their skin, and that's the other thing I was going to say. It's kind of like a mixture of I Am Legend as well. Did you ever see that movie?
Unfortunately.
I love I Am Legend.
So they're vampires and they like the dark or something?
Well,
What's the
they
deal?
can't deal with UV. Is what I'm saying. The other
Okay.
guys. So because when you go to nighttime, that's the other thing. There's not as many regular zombies.
It's more the hardcore.
Another thing I'm going to say, when you get a chance, go to the bridge. The bridge is the most impressive because at one point you can get about 35 zombies on the screen just running through cars.
Oh,
And
nice.
you just see a ton of zombies. It's really neat. To just,
Nice.
And then if you want, you can just start killing them all.
So, okay, well, where have you, where's your stance on it so far with the time that you've put in?
Meaning, like,
What do you think?
I've enjoyed it. I've probably enjoyed it more knowing that I'm going to get most of my money back. So, but I mean, I would definitely keep it or get it eventually for like maybe PC.
That's an interesting way to review something, and I think it's something that I think more people should spend their own money to review their games, because there is an investment.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that most reviewers and stuff like that either get their codes sent to them, or some other company is purchasing them and bringing them in for people to do reviews with, or they're being donated money to go out and buy reviews. Or not buy reviews, but buy games. And maybe buy reviews too. But yeah. But I think that's an interesting aspect that I think over time some people who review games sort of forget about. They understand that it's there, but they literally do not have that connection because they have not spent their money on that game.
Oh, yeah.
This is why the money that I put in, this is why I feel okay about my purchase, because I didn't put that much money into having to making that risk. So, yeah, another thing, my E3 thing was about traps and everything else. When I played it again, I'm sorry, my PAX thing was about traps. When I played it again at E3, he showed me a little bit of the same area that I had played at PAX, and he was like, okay, now we're going to increase your level. We're going to move you to further in the game where you've got all these abilities now. And the one thing I got, and I don't even know if you've gotten it yet. Have you gotten the grappling hook?
No.
That's like towards the end of the skill tree.
Man, that was fun.
Yeah, I've heard, and when I was doing some of the side missions, you have to get like to point A, point B, or whatever, and it was like you cannot use your grappling hook. I was like, "What's a grappling hook?" I mean, I knew what it is, but I'm like, I didn't know.
Is
I could
it
get
kind of
this.
like the hook shot? I mean, does it feel like that? You know, the Zelda hook shot?
I haven't played enough Zelda to tell you.
Oh.
But I will say, speed-wise, getting around the map, it's just big enough to where nothing feels like a pain. Like to get to one side or the other, you know it's a distance, but it's not like a, oh gosh, like I really wish I had like a fast travel or something. Everything feels.
Yeah, grappling hook almost initiates like a fast travel situation because you basically have the grappling hook, and as you look around, the icon changes to a lot like Batman, where WB games.
It's true.
Yeah, so it just highlights there, and you just hit it, and then boom, zip right to it, and he'll vault over the wall and be there. And if a zombie happens to be near where you hook, you can vault kick.
Oh, okay.
Once you do that, and then I mean and your momentum carries. So if you time it right, your momentum will keep you going even faster. So
All right.
When they showed me the grappling hook, because I wasn't too happy with where I was, but as soon as they introduced the grappling hook, and of course I had
that mechanic that just hooked you in?
Well, that, and I had just a maxed out weapon of some kind. I can't remember what it was, but it was brutal. I was taking out groups with one swing.
Mm-hmm. When you do some of the challenges and stuff, it'll be like, go kill 60 zombies in a minute. and you get a weapon that just one hits.
Oh, they give you
everything.
something then. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Well,
Good.
because he's
Reminds me of Saints Row.
there's a guy that's letting you test prototype weapons he's trying to build, so you get to do things like that, and it's pretty.
Nice.
One guy hit one of them. The sword was on fire, so you're swinging and catching everything on
Yeah.
fire.
No, the thing that turned me on it was that that later levels made me feel a little bit more powerful than what I was feeling playing that other one. Because I don't know, I didn't play Dead Island. I wasn't too big of, not necessarily a fan of it, but it just didn't attract me.
Yeah.
Like it maybe have attracted some other people. And Dying Light 2, by the way, or Dead Island 2. This is going to suck. Dead Island 2 is also not pulling me in either. But Dying Light was. I liked the first person. I liked the parkour. I liked the.
I forgot they were even making that.
Dead Island 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
It is not Techland that is making it, though.
Yeah, that's right.
Who also did this. It is actually Jaeger who is making that, which are the same guys that made...
Other games? Good.
Man.
Yeah.
What was the game where you're in the desert and you're in the military thing? Starts with an S.
Spec Ops.
Spec Ops.
The
Line. God.
That was a good one.
Yes. So yeah, they're working on Dead Island too. So, all right, good, nice assessment. I guess you would agree with that. You're not as far as in it as he is.
No,
I
I
believe.
am not as far in as he is. My
Did you buy digitally or did you buy physical?
physical.
Okay.
They had it at the BX, and
Yeah.
I picked it up there. Yeah, my combat skills. I just leveled up to like 6 in combat, so I'm like, I try and keep my because you had the 3 different levels. You have survivor, combat, and what's the third?
Traveling or the
Yeah, like
moving.
the traversing. I'm trying to keep them kind of like all leveled around the same time. So I'm like kind of like a level 6 right now. So it's still kind of early in. Right now I'm just clearing, going around the map, just exploring, clearing out the save points, for the safe houses, and yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, as far as the time that you put in it and the money that you put into it,
I'm enjoying it.
okay.
It does feel better than Dead Island did. I mean, obviously, it's like if you take, like we've been saying, you take Dead Island, add Mirror's Edge.
Mirror's
or
Edge,
whatever.
yeah. Which is
Yeah.
which is the way I've always tried to describe what Dying Light was. Anytime we talked about it beforehand, was
But
it's
I will say real quick that I'm glad that I'm on console, not with an AMD PC,
Yeah.
just with their issues.
are they having issues?
Yeah, people can't get out of 15 FPS.
Oh, that would be no. That
Yeah.
would be.
I've got an
unbearable.
Nvidia card, so I think I'm okay because I just popped it on here
Although-
before the show.
Even NVIDIA, I know Total Biscuit was getting at best 60, at best. Usually around 40, which is pretty much console.
Again, going back to the fact that I put in the money that I put in, I'm not too worried about
Yeah.
it. I had it in my GameFly queue to send it to me because I did want to play with you, but then as soon as I got it there, I was like, okay, well, let me take it out of my
Understandable.
GameFly queue.
Plus, I'm not going to have it that much longer anyway. So
Yeah, really.
I'll be getting Bloodborne.
Is that coming? When is that?
What is it? The end of February, isn't it? I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So you're skipping order, or are you going to get that too and just do the run through?
I was going to do Order first, and then I was going to get Bloodborne.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah.
I
No.
keep thinking the Order is in March. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, that's the way to do it. Order is in February. In fact, I think it goes Evolve, Order, Bloodborne, as far as the release. And I may be wrong. It may go Order, Evolve, and then Bloodborne. I'm not sure, but regardless, I'm doing the same thing that you're going to be doing for Order, which is basically just buy it, play it, take it back. All right, so good. There's our Dying Light discussion, and I hopefully will have more to say about it next week. Hopefully we'll be able to play more of it and get some time with Insurgency as well. Dennis, what about you? What's been going on with you?
Most of them playing Gat Out of Hell. That came out recently.
Right, so you picked that up.
Yeah.
System?
PC.
PC, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, man, good stuff. It's not something you want to play unless you've played through Saints Row, particularly 4. It is short. It's $20. It's not.
Okay.
It's
Kind of like the
working on a
pre-sequel Borderlands, where it's not. It's like a half step. It's not a full release. It's kind of like a half release.
it's more like maybe an expansion pack or so.
4.5.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. The one thing that is really good in there is you in 4 you had the ability to glide, kind of like in Crackdown 2 or Prototype. But in this one, you get flat out flight. You can fly around and bank, turn.
Don't you have to? I saw a video, and it looked like they had these little white feathers that actually keep you aloft.
Yeah, those will speed you up. Basically, if you maintain even, you can essentially fly forever.
Okay, that's good to know.
If you start flying upwards, you start losing speed. Go down, you gain speed. And those are basically like little boosts you have that will refresh as soon as you land.
Is it like Batman, and where you have to like dive bomb a little, then go back up and?
Yeah, you can, or you can like just like fly an even level, or if you need to fly up, use one of your boosts to get you enough speed so you don't like fall out of the sky.
Okay. I was just trying to think of there are ways to get yourself some speed without having to use your feathers if they're in limited supply, something like that.
Yeah, it's most you can have is 5 at a time, and they refresh as soon as you touch down on the ground as well.
Okay.
So it's not like that's it forever or anything. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's very much Saints Row, very much that kind of humor, exactly what I expected. But it is short. It is the engine is starting to show its age, and there are some points where you can tell it's like, oh yeah, this was definitely made on a budget. Just like something's like, well, they just kind of did like a little dialogue only cutscene here instead of like showing this like cool flashy thing they could have done. Mm-hmm. But it's like,
when did Saints Row 4 come out? Last year?
I think it was end of 2013.
2013. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. And they just did the re-release on the current gen consoles.
Yeah, I never really took Saints Row as being a yearly franchise thing, but
it really isn't.
It's not, but
seems like every other year.
Yeah, roughly. I mean, and given that 4 came out after the entire THQ thing, because they were originally under THQ.
That's true.
And then 4 was basically it was a expansion pack they were doing for 3.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, we just got picked up by Deep Silver. Let's just make this a whole new game.
Yeah, let's flesh this out into a full game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I look forward to what they do with that when they have to build a new engine.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what 5 will have in store.
Wow,
I'd really like them to ditch. I'd like them to start fresh, honestly.
Oh yeah, it has gotten to the point where it is.
I'm tired of these characters.
Where else can they go?
I am.
Well, yeah, I mean,
why?
I don't know, because I see them every single game, and I'm like, okay, we're done. Give me somebody new to play with. You know what I'm saying? Because it's been that group, hasn't it?
The Saints, yeah.
Well, not necessarily. No, not
like,
necessarily the Saints, but the same characters
Gat
from the Saints.
Yeah, essentially.
I don't say that necessarily means that they have to create something called somebody else's row. No, it can still be about the Third Street Saints.
I mean, they brought in new characters as well. In 3rd, they brought in new characters. 4th, they brought in some new guys.
How about something along the lines of maybe 20 to 40 years in the future, something like that in the same city? Something like that.
Well, I think for me, I think it would have to be more of a reboot in a way, because after you have aliens and virtual reality superpowers, where do you really go 20 years from there?
I don't necessarily know that they need to do that, man. I think it's what's the developer's name?
Volition.
Volition. Mm-hmm. I think Volition can easily go beyond what they're doing. I don't think they have to reboot anything. I think they could still make that stuff as wild and crazy as it needs to be.
Oh, yeah.
I think they could top that. I mean, what have they done? They've done space.
Yeah.
They've done space, they've done hell.
And they've done hell, and they've done whatever, they've done superpowers, I guess, which is basically
was part 4.
4.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know what they can do to really top this whole thing, but I'm sure they've got ideas.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm just interested to see what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one game series I've never touched.
Yeah, I
never touched it.
I didn't give it a second thought because
I played all 4.
Yeah, I didn't play 1 because that was a 360 only release. I didn't really pay attention to it because
I
this
played
is
1
GTA with the serial numbers
clone.
filed off.
I played 1, but it took itself way too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was trying to compete against GTA.
Yes.
2, I believe it started to...
2's where you had like the septic tank missions and the like.
Right, that's where it's...
That's where it was kind of like, oh, okay, this has a sense of humor about itself. And 3rd was like, well, that's our thing now.
Yeah.
We're going to be funny. We're going to have just the most ludicrous things you can. And then 4, it's like
We found
the
our
Matrix
path.
of superpowers.
Yeah, exactly. We found our path. Let's go down that path. So, if he were to start, where would he need to start? Do you want him to start? I would say start at 3. Honestly,
I would say either 3 or 4. If you want 3 is a bit more GTA involved. You can't like run up buildings and the like, which is just half the fun of 4. But
yeah, 4 is kind of like, it reminds me of Crackdown in a way.
yeah, 3 has a lot of
Just with the
the
powers.
sense of humor that kind of goes from that point forward. So that'll give you a good idea of whether you would like the series or not.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I'll have to look into that and try it.
yeah. Well,
It's pretty cheap on Steam. Isn't
Oh
it?
my God,
Yeah,
they go on
Yeah.
sale all the time.
That's what I thought.
And you can get like the franchise with 2, 3, and 4 for pretty
Yeah,
low.
usually it's around like $30 when they go on sale, if that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
get it
3 had a
pretty
lot of DLC for it too.
Mhm.
Same with 4.
Yeah, 3 and 4 both had like it's mostly
Crazy.
just like costume packs and like.
Costume and weapons.
But like they eventually they like sell a pack with like everything in it.
Yeah. I do like the dubstep gun.
Oh, that's a ton of fun. Pretty much any of the wacky stuff, and 4 in particular with the you could change out your weapon skins essentially.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of
Or,
weird stuff.
one of the pistols is like the Star Wars blaster.
Yeah, one Star Wars blasters, another is Malcolm Reynolds' gun from Firefly.
Yeah, and they have the little cricket from Men in Black.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Matt, I know you've been playing Dying Light.
Yes,
But
Dying
I
Light.
know that you have also been playing, and anybody that was watching on Twitch knows that you, and our YouTube channel now that it's up there, knows that
Yeah,
you've also been playing something else.
Yes, I actually figured out how to upload. Thank you for helping with that. Let me know.
Well, I mean, I didn't really help you other than say that, hey, it has to be done. You have to upload it through Twitch. So
See, that's more than what I knew.
Yeah.
But no, I played the first year of Grim Fandango Remastered, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. I want to stream.
And we're not really going to get any kind of unbiased opinion out of you, are we?
I'm trying to be.
I don't expect one.
I'm trying to be objective as I can be
Well,
for anything.
Not knowing the series at all and watching you play, I can give a more of a better perspective of it's definitely a PS2, PS1-ish era type game that makes me think it's almost like a Jack and Daxter style of humor type
I mean,
game.
it came out in '98.
Yeah, so exactly.
it's-
So it definitely fits its era.
Just from the technical aspect, I do. At first, I was weary of. It has 2 different controls. It has the original tank controls, and then they have camera related, which is what we're
Original
kind of,
tank controls?
Yeah, the original game. It was
Like Resident Evil.
Yeah, like the
Resident
original
Evil.
Resident Evil and the like.
Yeah.
Where like hitting right turns your character slowly to the right.
Well, that or
tank control. Okay,
yeah,
that
tank-
makes more sense.
Yeah, tank controls is character. No matter which direction you're facing, if you press up on the stick, you're going to go forward. So it doesn't matter which way you're facing. So you just kind of have to think about that. So it's more like from the character's POV.
And what's the other
Now
controller?
it's camera related. So push down on the
Gotcha.
stick if he's to go down on camera, push up. So
And what were you playing that night? I don't
I
remember.
was playing on the new control scheme, the
Okay.
camera related. So
Are you playing on PC?
PC? Yeah,
PC,
I got
okay.
it on Steam. I like much like the Monkey Island remakes that they did. With a click of a button, you could swap between the original and
Yeah.
the new remastered. And periodically I would do that, where just to see oh hey, here's a new character. Here's a character. Let me see how this one looks. And you could tell from a technical aspect, the game has higher texture resolutions, which look really nice. Plus, it has the new lighting filters and everything, so you get more atmospheric lighting, and it really adds to that noir feel. And so, occasionally I just click back and forth to see how it was originally, and then how it looks now. Yeah, it's wonderful. I think after eventually I want to go back through, and they also have commentary from the developers, Tim Schafer and all the people that made it, and that'd be kind of neat to hear what they have to say about stuff. But that'll be down the road.
Is it? I don't have the. I don't know that they've released. I don't think they've done a remaster of any game. And DuckTales, I would say. But going through it, are there parts? See, I don't know how much. I hadn't played DuckTales since it originally released on the NES. And
Yeah.
then when they did the remaster, I was going through it, and I didn't remember. I remembered some aspects of things, but I couldn't remember like certain maps.
Was this
I couldn't
map,
rem-
was
Yeah.
this just like a higher texture, new
Right, I couldn't
background? Yeah.
remember, especially the Haunted Mansion that's in there, because that has a maze of how you move through rooms and stuff, different doors you pick, and I couldn't remember the pattern
Yeah.
of how to do that. But are there aspects of the game that come back to you as you play through? Does it, or have you
Oh,
just
yeah.
always held on to that stuff?
I've played that. I played Grim Fandango many times.
Yeah.
Throughout the years.
Yeah.
Because I still have the discs. Both of
Wow.
them.
Okay.
And so, I'll just pop it in like, every 2 years or so, and I'll play through it again. So part of it was just trying to remember, as I was going through, like, all right, I know what I need to do. Just trying to remember where, items are, and but some of it does come back to you. It's a 4 year. The game itself, spans 4 years in the game world, and so I just completed the first year, and the second year you're in the city of Rubicaba, and I like the second year a lot. It's one of my favorites. Just that city just feels very noir and like Mexican Land of the Dead-y.
Land of the Deady.
Yeah, I mean the starting off city El Mara, what Nate saw, it gives you a good, I guess, introduction to it and everything, to like the feel of the game, but it really starts to shine, I think, in year 2. So I'm looking forward to playing some of that.
Yeah. And so Dying Light and Grim Fandango, anything else you put in time with?
Alien Isolation.
Okay.
I was actually feeling that one.
Good.
I'm like, all right, let me, pop that back in, and still running. I'm still in the beginning, I guess stages of the game, but running around a little bit, and it's really, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So,
RJ, what about you?
Standard fare for final round coming up in March. Playing a little more Street Fighter and Guilty Gear Xrd.
Have you already like registered and got yourself into that tournament?
Not
or
quite. We've got the room. We got the room registered, but I got to get the registration in. I got until 3 weeks before the event starts, so it's coming up pretty soon. But I'll be registered well before the deadline.
Yeah.
So I'll be getting
And
in.
it costs per game that you want to play in, right?
It is $10 per game that you get in, and the registration is right now. Event badge is $40. So right now I'm looking at $60 for registration and.
What are the two games?
that's not bad.
Ultra Street Fighter 4 and Guilty Gear Xrd.
Okay.
So I got those that I'm practicing with right now. But other than that, I put a little bit of time in the Resident Evil HD remake.
How are you enjoying that?
360. I'm having a good time with it. I mean,
What brought that about?
Why did I get? Well, like I said before, sometimes I forget that I got a Xbox, and I also forgot that I had.
Yeah, you guys may have talked about this last week. I don't know. But
I had like also forgot that I had like $26 in the.
When did you get the
wallet for it.
Xbox?
Oh goodness, it was
last year
sometime
probably
late
while
last
you were
year.
out.
because he was
That's
prepping for final round last year.
I was prepping for final round, and they were going to have it on the 360 from then on. So that's why I got one.
Okay.
But I had $26 in the wallet on that system, and Resident Evil was $20. So I'm like, why not? So I picked it up. I started playing it a little bit. The things you were talking about tank controls and Grim Fandango,
Yeah.
same exact same thing applies here.
Can you swap between the two different controls, or is it okay?
You can swap. You can swap between the two, but I prefer the classic tank controls as opposed to the analog, because there were times when I'm going through the scene. In Resident Evil, sometimes the scene changes and the perspective changes with it.
Yeah.
So if you have the analog camera related controls in there,
You'll just
you
sort of
still
go in
hold
a
forward.
loop.
You think you're going forward, and all of a sudden you'll turn back around. And I started realizing, if I was in a room with an enemy and I just suddenly went the wrong direction because the camera's messed up, I'm going to get a little ticked about that. So I went back to the classic tank control. So no matter what goes on, you're going to be going forward as long as you hold up. So I kept that design in mind. Like I said, I haven't put too much time in it, but I'm going to put a lot more time in it as the week goes by.
And you haven't played the first one yet before, have you?
The very original Resident Evil,
Yeah.
I did play before
Okay,
on
you
the Sega Saturn.
Okay, that's
That was
right.
the first
Yeah,
time I
you
played
got the.
It would be a
Saturn.
Sega system, yeah.
Yep.
Of course it would.
the director's cut, right?
Yep, director's cut. Then I had caught the flash sale on PlayStation Network, so I bought a few games in there. Luminous, Hustle Kings, Castle Crashers. I bought those 3 for I think they're around $3 to $4 a piece.
Hey, we're getting some great stuff for PS Plus next month.
Oh, yeah?
Starting tomorrow, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Transistor.
Yeah, I have all those pulled up.
Yeah. What are they? You got them pulled up? What are they?
It is.
Transistor is one. He had them pulled up.
Yeah, I know.
We were going over I was going to go over the Xbox ones first. That's why.
Well, go. You can go ahead.
Okay.
We're on the subject. Why not?
Okay, for Xbox, it's IDARB. Is that how you
Yeah,
do it?
it's like hashtag. It's apparently what somebody pointed this out to me. I drew a box. I drew a red box. Was how it was, I think, and that's why it's IDARB. IDARB.
Okay.
I drew a red box. Yeah.
You played that, didn't you?
I played it at PAX Prime and really, really enjoyed it. It's got Twitch integration, so people can
Oh, that's right. Mess with you, kind of.
people can make your screen really tiny. People can make it zoom in. People can rickroll you while you're playing. I'm not kidding. It
So it's
puts Rick Astley in the background of it, and it plays that while you're playing.
It's like Eternal Darkness.
Not necessarily. I say it's 4-player. I don't know, but it's a co-op thing where it's like the way they had it set up at PAX Prime. It was 2 players on the red team, 2 players on the blue team, and there was a ball, and you had to score goals, basically. But it was very frantic and fast-paced, and very pixel-ish. Not very much detail that I remember as far as everything. So, but Twitch had the ability to type in commands that would make it challenging. So, anyway, IDARB's one of them. For Xbox One.
Games with yes. That's the only thing for Xbox One.
Yeah.
Oh, short list.
Yeah, and then for 360, it is Brothers,
Okay.
and then Sniper Elite 2 or V2.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sniper Elite V2.
2.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that was another game I was playing. Sniper Elite
And then-
3.
Yeah, good.
for PlayStation or PS Plus, for PS4, it's Transistors and is it Apathon?
Apathian,
Or Apathian? Is that how you say it? Okay.
I guess.
I never heard anyone say it, so I wasn't sure. And then PS3, it's Yakuza 4 and Thief. And then
Wow, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
for Vita, Kick and Finnick. And then crossplay for PS4, PS3, and Vita, it's Rogue Legacy.
Good
Wow,
stuff.
nice. Okay.
Which everyone was kind of complaining that Thief wasn't on PS4, but, there's always complainers.
Yeah, free games.
Man, I tell you.
Yeah, man, why am I not getting my free games on everything?
I know. You put
Yeah.
up the value of PS Plus against the value of Xbox Live Gold. What you're getting
Yeah.
between the two.
It's no comparison.
God, it's really good.
Yakuza is a series I
man.
should be looking into.
I enjoyed it.
I keep hearing nothing but good things.
It's
about
PS3, right?
Yeah.
And you're a
PS3.
PS Plus member.
I'm a Plus
There you go.
member, so there I am.
You've got it.
I have a 3, and I played that, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I said, never heard anything bad about it. Just a good time all around.
So anyway, so those are our free games that we're getting. Back to you on playing Resident Evil. By the way, since you now have a 360, I've got a ton of 360 games if you ever want to borrow any. I've got Bayonetta for 360. If you ever wanted to borrow that, I know you've already played it, but you
On
probably wouldn't be
PS3.
opposed to playing it again on any other system, I'm sure.
No.
Yeah, I've got. I think we've all probably got a good library of 360 games
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'm not really using. I haven't even plugged my 360 in.
I got it plugged in. I just haven't done anything with it.
Mine's, just
But
sitting-
you are more than welcome. I'll take a picture of my stuff at home of the games that I've gotten. I'll just send it to you, and you can just be like, "Hey, bring in these next weekend," then I'll bring them to you. Anything else other than training for the thing?
That's pretty much it. Getting those off the flash sale, getting a little touch of Resident Evil, but mostly practicing for a final round this March.
Yeah. Did you now? W. Matthew's been bringing it up in the chat room, but I had read about it where Apex going on right now. Apex 2015.
Yeah,
It's a Smash Brothers tournament, I believe.
yeah, most of Smash Brothers. Yeah,
Right. So they filled capacity at whatever place they were doing, and the fire marshal shut them down.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
fire marshal shut them down. Apparently, and W. Matthew, I don't have this stuff up. If I don't know, are you on it there, Nate?
I can pull it up.
Yeah, pull that up real
Sure.
quick and give us the full details, because I'm going to wing it with the details that I understand. In fact, you didn't have it in our dump there, did you, Dennis?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Apparently, Twitch stepped in and got them a new place and got them a new venue and everything else, and said, "Okay," and bust them over to the new place so that they could continue doing their tournament.
right.
Which that's amazing. I love that. I don't necessarily know that Twitch was a sponsor of this thing. I don't think that they were.
If not, they just got some major brownie points.
Right. Well, yeah, but they were broadcasting it, they were streaming it, and for them to shut it down, I'm sure they probably had some kind of investment into this. But they probably had page ads and stuff like that bought for the
Probably, yeah.
for broadcasting the tournament. So
Yeah, I just pulled the article up from Polygon, I believe. Yeah, it said Kotaku reported yesterday on the tense situation facing the tournament. Someone pulled a fire alarm at the Empire Clarion Hotel in Secaucus, New Jersey, just outside of New York City. When the fire marshals arrived to investigate, they found the ballrooms where the tournament would be played, failed safety code, and ordered them evacuated and closed.
wow.
What he said.
And then
Man.
Twitch stepped in. It doesn't have anything about
There,
that.
there are some reports that there was structural damage as well
Yeah.
in the hotels.
Oh
It
goodness.
In
said,
addition to like being at capacity.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a tweet someone put out. D1 said, "We're moving to the Garden State Convention Center. This event is still happening. Big thanks at Twitch for this. Tell everyone you know."
Yeah.
Yeah. So they will have it. They will have that tournament going on. But yeah.
That's great. I think that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's wonderful. So, as far as what I played, now outside of PAX, I will talk about what I played. I did the Evolve Alpha with, or Beta, whatever it was, man.
Test.
With Nate and with Track Zero, which was a lot of fun. We had a ton of fun with that. I enjoyed it immensely. Still playing my, what is the guy that I play?
The redneck.
He is the redneck. Until I get the very British robot.
That's the official class of the redneck.
Seriously,
Really?
he's got the barely done or the almost finished stogie in his mouth, and he's talking all hickish. Got his Duck Dynasty beard going on and everything, and he's all whatever. But yeah, so I play him up until the point that I get the completely opposite British speaking robot. Complete with like top hat and monocle.
You get a cameo from Sir, You're Being Hunted.
Yeah, very. Oh, that's exactly that's a perfect way to put it. Yes, because I love him because his head comes. His name is Bucket. I can remember his name. His name's Bucket. The other guy, I can't remember his name, and I can't
play
remember.
support?
I play support.
Okay. It is
Hank. Is it Hank?
You have Bucket and then Hank. Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So Hank starts me out, and then I upgrade to Bucket.
Or Psy.
I don't know. I haven't played him yet.
Psy from Duck Dynasty.
Oh,
You don't know. Okay.
I don't. Yeah, no. I know the name and that they're old people with beards. That's all I know.
He's the only one I know. So
Oh, and then all the other stuff that brings them into controversy knows. But yeah, and they like Zaxby's apparently.
Yeah.
you know more than me.
So, but yeah, I like Bucket only for the fact that his head detaches and becomes a UAV to find the monster. I love that aspect of it.
Then I played the Amazing Medic.
You did very good. You did exceptionally well. I remember the one, and Drew's got some of these on his Twitch channel. I remember the one where
It's lasted 2 minutes.
no, it's the I remember this one because we landed and I got separated from the group. I'm playing as Hank, but I got separated from the group. You guys were going one way and I went another way, and it was stupid of me to get separated. So then this plant ate me.
That game.
And there was nobody around to revive. There was nobody around because once nature takes over, be it a giant animal or a plant that's deadly to you, you got to have your friends there to like shoot at it so it'll release you.
Which is why you're not supposed to be alone.
That's why you should never be alone. Exactly. I didn't have this. I didn't have this benefit, and I said I died, and it took about 2 minutes before I could respawn. So that 2 minutes, I'm waiting to respawn, and they're dealing the damage to the monster. I finally respawn. I land, and I'm not with the group still. I don't know where I am.
Yeah, you're a little bit away.
Plant eats me again.
Feed me, Seymour.
So I said, when the match is done, you get to see a map of how the game played out. I'm like, watch that little yellow dot. See? Skull bones, the skull and crossbones from where I died. All right. And so it's going at a much faster rate than the game is, so everybody can see what happened. And then I said, there I come into the map again. Watch it. Oh, skull and crossbones. Dead again. I didn't get to participate at all. But they got through it without me. They won the match without me, so apparently they don't need me. So Evolve I played, and then I got in time with the Room 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember
on
seeing
the
that on
flight
Twitter.
to PAX.
Yes. Which that made me, when I saw you play that, I replayed through it.
Oh God.
I beat it in like, I don't know, less than an hour.
Oh my God, I'm loving it so much. I'm at the parlor room puzzle.
What's in there?
There's a old time camera in there.
Yes.
And then there's some, like-
that one, that's the hardest. That took me the longest.
It's given me a run for my money, but I'm getting through it. And God, it was so great to come back to
My
that.
favorite though was the pirate ship.
That's like the second one,
Yeah,
right?
that was my favorite.
That was good. I like how I can't remember that they did this in the first room, but I like how there are multiple aspects of.
Yeah, they didn't do that in the first one.
Yeah, in the second one, there's the pirate ship puzzle, but you really can't do anything with that until you
Complete
look
Yeah, you can
around
go
the
over to-
room.
you can go over to another thing, essentially.
Yeah. Oh man.
If you love puzzle games, play the Room series.
Seriously.
I'm telling you now.
When's
that.
3 coming out?
I think you looked it
TVA,
up.
yeah, it's spring 2015
That's,
TVA
that's the only reason you're playing Room 2. Well, you won't play the Room 3.
for a couple of years.
And, yeah, for a while now.
Well, I like the fact that I save them for flights because flights can get very boring.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I save my Walking Dead comics and my puzzle games for my flights.
How far are you up in the comics?
I've caught up.
Oh, I stopped after 100.
Oh no, I'm caught up. I'm up at 130, whatever they're at right now.
That was the one that made me just put it down.
But see, it'll be another 6 months or so before I go to E3
So then you have
when I start again.
time to-
You know, so I'll have 5 or 6 issues to read on the flight to Los Angeles, and then do that for PAX East or Prime and everything else.
You'll
So
be really set the day you fly to PAX Australia.
I'm not going to PAX Australia. I'm not going to PAX Australia.
You never know.
And we're going to talk about PAX South in the next segment here, but I played the room and just loved it. Started having a conversation. I tweeted that I was playing the room to the guys who, what is it, Fireproof?
Yeah, Fireproof, correct.
Yeah, Fireproof Games, and they responded back, and we started talking. I was like, I really, really, really want to get you on our show.
Yes.
I really want to have you on the show.
Did they say anything?
No, they were open to it. So we just once PAX started, I never got back in touch with them. So I need to do that.
Yes,
and
I'll
set
remind
something
you.
up. Yeah, that you will. You and a couple other people, I'm sure, in the chat room will remind me of that.
I
In
would've-
fact, we'll do a chat room roll call here right after the break. But we'll have PAX South stuff to talk about. Maybe James will join us. He mentioned something about maybe coming for the second hour, so we'll see about that. But
Cool.
more in-game chat coming up here in just a minute. Here is music from Advent Rising. We will be back in just a moment. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music from Oblivion. Okay, second hour of the show. Let's do a chat room roll call real quick and see who all is here. We've got Quiet Hype 2. Yes, I will, trust me, I will be reminded very much so to talk to Fireproof and make sure we get them on the show. Multile, thanks for joining us tonight. Oh, goodness. Sizeth, SC3TH, maybe? W. Matthew hanging out there. Medusa's Mirror. We'll talk about you in just a moment. John, not Chris. That's good to know. Where's Chris? AC Wraith, STM Fuller, Lavos, Zero XVX, and Tacitus59 hanging out in the chat room. So welcome everybody. I met two people. Actually, I met three. I met three people over at PAX South. A longtime friend of mine who I haven't seen in years. Bone was his name, and Eric Lang. Hadn't seen him in years and years and years, and it was great to see him. He lives in Austin, but he came down to PAX South. Another guy from COG, and who is also, I want to say, has written into the show and has listened to the show before. Criteas, I believe is his name. Criteas.
Sure.
I think it's Criteas because I remember asking him, "Have I said your name right?" And he's like, "Yeah, you've said it right all the time." So
okay.
Criteas is. Watch it be the wrong way. But I met him at PAX South, and I also met Medusa's Mirror, Sarah, at PAX South as well. So, and it was great meeting. It was great meeting everybody. Hung out with Sarah a lot on the first day of PAX. We met and walked around and looked around. She was not up for doing the Oculus Rift version of Elite Dangerous. She's not down for that, which was fine. It ain't for everybody. I understand that. I hate that it's not for everybody because I wish everybody could experience it, but everybody has. Not everybody can handle the way VR does that, and I don't, and I agree with that because I know that there's probably going to be something that somebody comes up with in a VR aspect that I'll be like, oh, I can't do this. Most likely it'll be a horror game.
Oh yeah,
where I'll be like, no, I can't do this. No. But yeah, we hung around a lot on Friday, and then we went to the Paul and Storm concert on Saturday. And I think I saw her for a little bit on Sunday. In fact, yes, I did on Sunday because we stood in line for the Borderlands or for the Gearbox panel that took place Sunday morning, and she flew out back on Sunday. I didn't come back until Monday, but great hanging out with her. Great seeing her. She's done a lot for the show. She sent us plenty of things. I kept offering. I was like, "Do you see anything here that you want? Can I buy you something?" Because you've done. She kept saying, "Look, everything that I've sent you because it was been free." You know, the autograph that she got of Jack.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Came about because the actress
was at Dragon Con.
Mm-hmm.
Was it? Well, she was at Dragon Con, but. Sarah made mention of something to the actress. She's like, "Oh, well, let me sign something for them," and she did, and it cost her nothing.
Yeah,
to have that done. The book that she sent us, Console Wars, that RJ and I both enjoyed. In fact, do you still have that, or did you give that back to me, or?
I gave that back to you and went and bought my own copy.
Okay, because I mean, I more than welcome.
Yeah,
to...
you shared it out with everybody. But yeah, I went
okay,
out,
good.
Went out later on and bought my own hardcover copy of the book.
But that was also something that she got for free because I think she works at a bookstore.
Yep.
So yeah, that was not a problem at all, and so we never found anything that I could get her. But I really wanted to just thank her so much for all the support that she's given us over the years. She shows up to almost everything that we broadcast on Twitch. My pinball days, anything that I play pinball with, or other stuff. She's helped us test out new things, hitbox, and that sort of stuff.
I didn't see her in the list when I was playing Grim Fandango, though.
I don't know. Maybe she. I didn't even know you were playing Grim Fandango. I didn't know that was planned. Was that? Did you plan that, or did you just decide to do it?
I wanted to try it to see, if my internet at the house can support it, and I really wanted to play the game. So
she's in the chat room. Maybe she'll respond. Maybe she'll answer for her actions.
That's like calling her out.
There.
I know.
Yeah, really.
Calling her fans out. Jeez.
I know. Matt,
you were there at
now
least.
we lost our.
Why aren't they paying attention to Matt?
I know. That's what I said.
I didn't know. I had something pop up on my phone and said "in-game chat live." Call us, and I was like, "Why is that going off right now?"
Yeah, that was me.
And I went to our channel and nothing was playing. I immediately went to our channel and nothing was there playing.
Yeah, I tried it at first just once and just stopped it right away, and then I went and got something to eat, and then I loaded it up and then started to go.
Well,
It was just to like freak you out.
you should totally give us a heads up on that so we can tweet it out and say, hey, we're about to play this in a few minutes, or hey, we're going to play this
Actually,
on
that's
such
how
and
I
such
found
day.
out. I posted on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the one that I saw said, it was like we were doing a live show.
Oh, well, see,
I think that was before I changed
Right, because
the
he hadn't
name,
changed the title.
Yes, I didn't see that one. Then I had posted it on Facebook.
So when it happened and I went and nobody was playing anything, I thought, oh, it must have been a mistake. Somebody must have had this launched on their PS4 or something like that and hit a button and said, whoops, I'm streaming, and was testing or something like that. And so I didn't really think anything of it. And I guess because of the distance or the time between you starting that and then starting the next one, it didn't send me another email. I think it sent out another Twitter thing.
Because that's the only tweet I saw was that it said Matt's playing.
Yeah.
I was trying to make sure that it captured the game stream.
Yeah.
You know, that's why there's a little bit of like,
Does anybody plan on streaming this week?
I'm going to try to. I'm going to try and do year 2.
What day do you want to shoot for that?
That's just what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay.
Probably maybe Wednesday.
I mean, if I stream on my own channel.
Do you have our information to stream on our channel? I'll get you that.
Okay.
Yeah. We're all a part of the show. We should all be.
Yeah.
If we're going to stream, we should all stream.
I'll need that as well
through our channel so everybody can get there.
Okay. I was streaming Dying Light the other night as well.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. No,
that'd be
seriously,
fun.
we need to do that. Yeah, I'll give you the information for that.
Okay.
So yeah, if we're gonna stream, let people know because
definitely.
I would have loved to watch that. I know it's on YouTube now,
Yes.
and I will go watch that, but because that's a game I have not experienced.
And I, thanks to Nate's suggestion, I'll make sure that I mute my phone.
What you guys should do is play some co-op of Dying Light together and stream that.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
I'm down.
You guys should definitely do that. So anyway, PAX South. Here's my assessment of PAX South. I would love to, Sarah, if you can, I don't know if you're at work or something, but if you can call in to the show, 334-272-9228, and anybody else who's listening who went to PAX South, I would love for you guys to call in and first tell us why you didn't tell me you were there so I could meet you, and then tell us what you thought about it. I'd really like to know how somebody's first PAX, how their experience was for their first PAX. As to somebody who was going to their, 8th PAX, or 9th PAX, I guess, from that experience. So my assessment of it was that, man, I love the fact that it was tiny. I love the fact that it was so very small. The amount of developers and publishers and everything that was there was not necessarily the lineup that I would have liked. I mean, everyone that was there was great. It was just, it could have used more.
How many do you think were there?
There was actually a lot, except, Nintendo was there, but Nintendo only had the new 3DS set up.
Ooh.
So people could play around with that. That's all they had there. They didn't have anything for Wii U. They didn't have Splatoon there, which would have been a perfect place for them to showcase that. Look,
Yeah.
I played Splatoon. I love Splatoon. I'm pretty sure I'm getting a Wii U this year, just for the fact of all the stuff that's going to be there. And I really like Splatoon.
This is probably the better year to do it.
I know. So Microsoft said that they were going to be there, and they were, but they were there sponsoring some. And I'm really not trying to put this down, but they weren't in there in a Microsoft Xbox One video game capacity.
Yeah.
They were there sponsoring Texas, some college gaming program.
Okay.
So the big banner said Texas International Students for Gaming, blah, 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 blah.
Sponsored
And then
by.
under it was Microsoft, and so everybody was playing on Surface systems, but they're all mobile-like games.
Well, that's partially, too, because that's the same week Microsoft was doing their actual press conference.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's Windows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't, again, something here I wasn't here to talk about. So yeah, Sony was not there in any capacity. EA was not there in any capacity. The biggest booth there was Twitch and Greybox Games. Greybox Games did Grey Goo and Dreadnought, both of which are very, very awesome.
Okay, I saw Grey Goo on Steam for sale.
Grey Goo is already on Steam. Dreadnought, man, I asked the guy again. I was like, "When's that coming out?" He's like, "2015." I was like, "Okay, what? 2015? Would not like a quarter, not like holiday, not like winter, nothing. Just 2015.
Sometime this year, hopefully."
That's I'm curious how that game's going to get received. I love playing it, but I'm very curious how well that's going to get received by players. It's a very, very slow moving multiplayer game because those ships are very slow. There are some fast ships, but they lose a lot of, your big ships can take a lot of damage and can deal a lot of damage. Your slow ships can
more agility, but less.
They have a lot more agility, so they can escape the firepower, but their health can go down real quick. Plus, for the big ships, they can run circles around you while they're damaging you. They can just run circles around and just damage you, so it's hard to get a beat on them.
Kind of like in Assassin's Creed 4. When you're going up against like the big dreadnought class or the Man of Wars.
Very possibly. I never did much of that because it was kind of lopsided for me. I never could get through one of those fights. But yeah, Dreadnought's fun game. Let's see what else was out there. The convention center was huge. A good portion of it was set aside for the queue line for the main theater. So that was blocked off. About halfway through the convention center, they blocked that. They didn't necessarily block it off, but that's when the expo floor was done, and the rest of it was all tabletop games.
Okay.
In fact, this was, and I'm sure it's because of the space that they had, and they couldn't fill it with people on the show floor. They said, well, let's make this all about tabletop. So PAX South was like the biggest tabletop area that PAX has ever had. And it was huge. Huge area for just nothing but tabletop games. Let's see. Elite Dangerous was there. Like I said, played the Oculus Rift version of Elite Dangerous. Now, I'll go into what I play in a minute. I just want to give the aspect of what PAX South, how I enjoyed PAX South. I liked the fact that it was small. There were a lot of people for such a small area. I will say that. The amount of people that were there could have easily done a PAX East or maybe a PAX Prime. I don't know. The space is huge. They've got a lot of room to grow. In fact, they're building another convention center onto the convention center that's already there. It'll be done in about 2 years.
Okay.
So they've got plenty of room to get bigger and
Was that
grow.
the construction you were hearing?
No.
Okay. We'll save that. We'll save that
when we get to it. But the construction was actually in the hotel.
Okay.
But it was just really nice to have that compact area. I mean, I was done with the show floor the first day. And in fact, less than the first day. I was done. There was a ton of vendors there. People selling things. And there were a ton of little smaller developers and publishers and that sort of thing showing off games and stuff. Very small booths. Tiny Build had a booth there. I did another speedrunners tournament. And I won, I qualified to be in the finals, and then I won the finals that I was in. And that was a lot of fun to do.
Good job, man.
I love my speedrunners. Yeah.
Looks like Medusa's on the line.
Yeah. But just to go back from my aspect of what I've experienced before, I wish PAX could go back down to this size again, so that more people could show up to it. I mean, Friday passes and Sunday passes were still available on Friday and on Sunday. And back when we used to do PAX Prime, man, seriously, we did a whole show of in-game chat in a hotel room with like 25 people. And so there was like 25 of us from the community all there, and that just can't happen anymore. Tickets sell out too fast.
Yeah.
And nobody can get there and go. But let me see if this works again. Sarah, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey!
Hello.
All right,
Hello.
what was your assessment of PAX South? This was your very first PAX, not necessarily your first convention. I guess your first gaming or purely gaming convention, correct?
Yes, it was my first gaming convention. I usually go to things like Dragon Con, so PAX felt very small to me.
Yeah, I bet it did. Well, I usually go to things like PAX, and PAX South felt very small to me.
Right. So, and it was weird that, like, things ended at a certain time. Like, they were kind of like, you need to leave now. It's midnight. I was like, oh, okay.
That's odd because I think they go later than that on in PAX Prime. I think they go to like 2 a.m.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But like Dragon Con has 24-hour programming and parties in the hotel lobbies. My hotel, at least, was very quiet. But it was fun. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, and what was your favorite thing to experience there?
It's probably a toss-up between the cosplay parade at the BioWare base and finding the Bring Your Own Book game.
Oh, yes, we should talk about Bring Your Own Book. Have you kept up with that on Kickstarter?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
They funded, and they're way overfunding, and I'm so excited for them.
I'm gonna look it up, but I want to tell you about Bring Your Own Book. So there was a section in on the show floor where they had a segment of some tabletop games that there was a contest held, and if you won this contest, you got to be featured onto this section of the show floor.
Okay.
It was the indie showcase.
Yeah, the indie tabletop showcase basically is what it was. So there was nothing. These were all pretty much in production tabletop games.
Any of them Steve Jackson?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, isn't that indie? I mean, Steve Jackson's not indie, is it?
No.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. So these are indie tabletop showcase. So these were people doing their own thing. I know I posted a picture of there was a guy there selling a game called Paperback, and to sign up on their email list, you had to use an actual typewriter to sign up, and I took a picture of it, and I thought that was just fantastic. I didn't care if I was going to get spammed by him or not. I just wanted to use the typewriter.
Yeah.
Right next to him was Bring Your Own Book, and the draw for this was the fact that I didn't know what it was. I just saw a bookshelf sitting there next to a table with a bunch of books. Well, that seems... I don't know if that's set dressing or if it's part of the game itself, and it turns out it's actually part of the game itself. I wanted to get this guy's name right. Matthew Moore is his name. Holy God, they're up to $25,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25,
awesome.
yeah,
With,
25 and a half.
22 days ago.
Yeah. He had just started it. He was about a day in whenever I met him on the show floor. And he said, we just started this thing. We're only asking for $13,000. We really hope we make it, but, we're going to try really hard. And they had like $1,500 the first day. Well, after the first day went, they had well moved into $2,500. And it just kept going from there. By the end of PAX, they were like at $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 already in by the end of PAX South. And then within, I think on Tuesday, they finally hit their funding of $13,000. And now they're at $25,500. Bring Your Own Book. You want to tell them about them, Sarah?
Sure. It's a card game that's essentially a scavenger hunt. So you draw a card, and you'll get something like find a superhero's catchphrase. And you each start flipping through the actual paperback book that you have in your hand.
Right. You have to bring your own book.
Looking for something that could count as a superhero's catchphrase. And there are various rules. The basic rule is that as soon as the first person finds one, the timer starts and everybody else has 30 seconds to come up with one. And then you kind of vote. They're cutthroat rules. You can do all kinds of things. You can play it with only ridiculous romance novels, or...
Those are the best, really. You want the best responses? It's usually... You bring 50 Shades of Grey and you're good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody wants to admit that they own that, and I don't own it, but I actually probably would try and find a copy just to play it for this game. Those are the best. It's based on that whole thing that you used to see float around Twitter, Facebook, whatever, where it's like, go to page 43 of your favorite book and look for the third sentence, and that is, or that is your whatever, and they would say something. That's your future, or that's your wife, or that's your this, or that, or whatever. And so it's kind of based on that. It's taking text out of context for the most part. And so it's a very group-played game, fantastic drinking game. I'm sure you could turn that into one. And so, yeah, you get those cards, and it just goes around very Cards Against Humanity-like. And it was fantastic to play. Every day on the show floor, I went over and I checked in on them, and I said, "Hey, everything's looking great. You guys are doing good. How's the reception been?" And everybody loved it. And so it was really, really, really well done. And it was fascinating to see this guy just trying this thing out and seeing it become so very successful very fast. So
yes. And There's a print and play version on their website,
Mm-hmm.
so you can play it right now, or the Kickstarter. They're expecting to ship in October.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they've already funded, and they're looking at right now. It's not international, but they're looking for ways to make it international shipping. There's a couple of people I knew in Canada who really want to play, and they can't have it shipped there right now because they haven't done international shipping yet. But they're looking into that, and especially with more supporters like this, I believe they will open that up so that they can do that. It was going to just be really cost prohibitive to ship international, but with the amount of money that they're getting, I think that they can look into that now and probably do it. So, yeah. In fact, every little thing that was in that tabletop section, I spent a lot of time there more than I did with anything else because the tabletop section was really, really good. There was something called Cog in the Machine. That was a lot of fun. I got to play some of that. I've got all the brochures for everything that was there, and I can't remember. A Sibling's Trouble, I believe, was the name of one of them. Shadows over Westminster was also very good. Basically, just do a Google for the PAX South Indie Tabletop Showcase, which is a long thing to say. Google that, and you'll find everybody who was in there. And seriously, all of them are worth it. All of them are worth looking into, and you'll find something that you enjoy. So it was really, really good. What else did you, as far as video games are concerned, was there anything you played?
I did not actually sit down with anything. I watched.
You watched Eric play Talos.
I watched Talos Principle, and then I watched you play a lot of Speedrunner.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's hard to pull me away from that, man.
Yeah,
it's really hard to pull me away from speedrunners once I get going.
Yeah, and Elite Dangerous looked awesome, but is not the sort of thing I want to risk in front of a large crowd of people.
VR gets to you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But it was a lot of fun. Well, I mean, so given your assessment of this, would you go back to PAX South?
Yes, I think I definitely would. It's so easy. I mean, it's hopefully a 3-hour plane trip.
I was going to say, you think it's so easy, but you had lots of problems coming in.
I did. But, that's part of why I wanted to fly in on Thursday. So
in case any of that stuff
no
actually
what,
happened.
I wouldn't miss anything.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for calling, and thanks for everything you do for the show. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, she got stuck in Birmingham for about 6 or 7 hours. Flat tire with the plane, and just completely delayed.
That's one thing you don't want to have a flat tire is the plane.
Yeah. So yeah, she got in a lot later than expected. The stuff that Nathan was talking about, the hotel room I had they were doing some construction, and they warned me ahead of time. They said, "Look, we're doing some construction. You're guaranteed to hear it. It's not that bad. It's only going to be going on from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m." And I thought, well, I'll be at the convention center. It's not going to bother me. But that first day, I was tired. I wanted to take a nap. And good God, that noise was atrocious. It was so loud and annoying. So I tweeted about it, including the hotel's name and their Twitter account so they would see it. And boom, upgraded to a new room. Got the upgrade to the concierge lounge, so I could have free breakfast every morning. They were nothing but they were
Got chocolate covered strawberries
and champagne. Yeah, no, it was fantastic.
I
got
had
updated to the upgraded to the honeymoon suite.
Yeah, really, for the most part, that's what it kind of felt like. And I got my internet for free, which wasn't supposed to happen, but they gave it to me anyway.
I had showed James all of that happening or whatever, and I was like, dang, they hooked them up.
They did. They really did. I was very impressed. So I'll give them a plug right now. It's the Marriott on the Riverwalk, not the Marriott on the River Center. Those are very close together, but it's the Marriott on the Riverwalk. That's where I stayed. And that is where it's very strange because when I looked at the map on the hotel I was getting for this thing, the Grand Hyatt, which is connected to the convention center, was all booked up. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to prepare for a walk here. And I found the Marriott. And the way the map was positioned, I was like, it's kind of a walk, but oh well, I've done this. It's no problem. I get there and the location is fantastic. It's across the street. It is a street walk across.
Nothing big.
Oh my God, it was great. It was fantastic. So it really, as far as the hotel situation is concerned, it could not have gone better. So enough about the hotel, though. Let's get into Elite Dangerous. This was the game I made a beeline to, basically, whenever they let the press in the hour early. They only do that on one day of the show. The very first day, you get an hour early before they let everybody else in. If you're media,
I'm sure the line for that one was rather extensive.
it was, and you weren't guaranteed to get the Oculus Rift of that.
Oh wow!
When they first started on Friday, they had 2 stations with Oculus Rift.
How many without?
6.
And
Okay.
this is the new Oculus, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So they had Meltile, great logo for Bring Your Own Book. So they had 6 stations set up that were without Oculus Rift, and they had 2 that were. As the day went on, they opened up 2 more stations. So they had 4 with Oculus, and then they had 4 that were without Oculus. But your position in line, you could not. Once you got up to the front, you couldn't say, do you want to play the Oculus version? No. It was like, well, whatever station opened up, you got to go play it. Luckily, Eric Bone was able to get in there and play the Oculus Rift version, but I was there specifically to play the Oculus Rift. They had invited me to do that, and I said, yeah, I'll come by. They said, stop by anytime, we'll get you in. I did it during the press thing. Waited for a guy to finish doing the Oculus Rift version. They strapped me in. Wow, man. It was great. I was playing with the. Do you guys ever see that picture of the setup?
No.
The HOTAS setup
Yes,
that they had?
I did.
Okay. I took a picture specifically of that because if I ever play this, I want that setup. I know it'll cost me an arm and a leg, but that was fantastic.
It was pretty neat.
It's the first time in a long time that I've played a flight sim, which is not necessarily what this is, but it's close. That I played with a stick again, man. The last time I did it was Flight Sim X or whatever years ago. I still haven't played the new one that's on Steam, and I had a Logitech stick.
Yeah.
But this thing was fantastic.
Have you seen James's?
I have not seen his. I have not seen his setup.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I really want to see his setup. But this was great. They fully modeled the entire interior of the ship. I looked behind me and could see the seat that I was sitting in. I looked down and I could see my chest. You could see your feet. You could see your hands on the controls. They did not move with your movement, but you really didn't pay much attention to that because you were fighting and flying. And so the thing that frustrated me the most, though, was I would see people using the Oculus Rift version, but they were not moving their heads. They weren't doing any kind of... They weren't using the Oculus Rift for what it's there for.
They're just looking straight ahead.
They were looking straight ahead. We're so convinced that we have to move the screen in order to change our viewpoint. Mm-hmm. We have to, if our character is looking at something that we don't want to look at, we need to move our character. Or we need to change the camera with our thumbstick or whatever the case. We need to move it by our hands, which is not what Oculus Rift wants you to do. Oculus Rift wants you to take advantage of your environment. And look around and seriously look. So the map would tell me where the enemy was, and it was just me it was just one-on-one dogfight. That's all it was. They didn't throw in a bunch of enemies or anything like that. So it was me versus somebody else, and AI, by the way, not multiplayer of anything, just AI. So the map would tell me if he was behind me. The map would tell me if he's above me or below or something like that. But all I really needed to know was is he behind me? Because then I would just do a flip, do a turnaround, whatever. Pull down on the throttle to slow me up and then do a quick turn and speed back up. But as soon as I got him in my view sight, regardless of if he was above me or below me, that's when I would start moving my head. And if I start moving my head on the show, you're not going to hear me because I'm going to go out of range of the microphone. But that's something that you have to realize when you're wearing VR, is that your viewpoint is under your control, not in your hands' control anymore. It's under your control to look around and see. And that was fantastic because the whole cockpit's open for you. So I could turn my head upwards and look as I was moving up because I was like, he's going to come over here, he's going to come over. And as soon as he did...
You start tracking with your eyes.
Yeah, that's exactly how it worked. You track with your eyes. And God, it was fantastic. Fantastic.
It's the way to do it.
I played Hawken with VR, but this was the first time I had played, and I can't remember the other game that I played at PAX Prime.
This Oculus
that had
was with
VR.
the version 2?
I want to say it was Dev Kit 2.
Okay, you had the first dev kit.
I've got the first Dev Kit, which is horrible compared to Dev Kit 2.
Okay, but so you could tell there's an obvious difference.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, I played with Dev Kit 2 back at PAX Prime.
Okay.
And I was easily convinced that, like, oh God, this is so much better. Not that I was convinced that, hey, I'm going to go out and shell out money for a second Dev Kit, because I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to wait for the retail. But when that retail hits, man, I am on it.
Yes.
I am in that cockpit. I am in that game. Whatever the case, I am in there. That is just fantastic. It's really, really good. I loved it. So yeah, that was my big. That was kind of like my highlight of the whole trip, was getting to play that in Oculus Rift. But I had, like I said, I spent more time and more time with the tabletop stuff. I did play a game called Magnetic, which is a puzzle game, by the way. Puzzle fans,
Yeah.
there's a game from Devolver Digital due out later this year called Magnetic. It uses magnets and the force of magnets in order to solve puzzles. Not necessarily in the vein of Talos Principle, but if we can't get a Talos 2 just yet, then I will take Magnetic.
Does the gameplay look very attractive?
Yeah, it's set inside. If anybody is familiar with the horror movies called Hypercube,
Yes.
or Cube and Hypercube,
Yes.
it's set in something like that. So every time you solve a puzzle, you go into this tube, and as you're going through this tube to the next puzzle, which, by the way, that whole tube is just an animation. You don't control that. You go into it, and then the animation takes over. Once you go through that, you start hearing noises, and the developer was telling me that's the cube changing position and changing shape to form another room for you to come out of and play again. It very, very, very fun to play. You use the way magnets attract and repel in order to move you. So if you want to...
I was about to ask about the polarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on certain platforms, you can reverse the polarity of your gun, and it turns red. So if you jump, you get a much higher jump because you're using the polarity of the magnet to push you higher. If you're in midair, you can match the polarity or whatever and pull yourself together, or reverse whatever. You can turn the magnet on, and it'll pull you to that area.
Grappling hook yourself up to something.
In a sense, yes. Timing's very critical on that.
Yeah. You don't want to smack into it. You just want to pull up towards it or something.
Yeah, so I had a lot of fun with Magnetic. That was really great. Another game, I looked at a lot of games from Devolver. Another game from Devolver was Breaching Clear Deadline, which is basically a kind of top-down strategy zombie survival squad-based situation. That was a lot of fun. That game is currently on Steam and in early access.
Anything like The Last Guy?
I don't think I played The Last Guy.
You're saying with a top-down zombie, something took over, and you got to survive through it.
Well, you're with a squad.
I think you're solo in this one.
No, you're with a squad, and so you can pause the action and tell your squad mates to, like, all right, when I start the action up, I want you to move to this position and aim your gun sight here. You go to this position and move your gun sight to the left. You cover this way, you cover that way, and then as they come in, you fight off the waves. Wave one's over, you move forward, you start a new wave. You can pause the action at any time and then move your players where they need to go. And so that was fun. What was the other one that I didn't get a chance to play this one? It looked a lot like Gunpoint. And I can't remember what the name of it was. God, I hate when that happens. The other one that I did play, though, was called Enter the Gungeon. I know.
Say that again?
Enter the Gungeon.
Okay.
Are you gonna? I thought you were gonna Google it or something.
I mean, I was going to. I just wanted to make sure that's what you said.
Enter the Gungeon. This is it's procedurally generated dungeons that get popped up. It's a top-down type view, and you get, and it's basically just a shootout. So you get a gun, you go through, you kill them, and then you move on to the next procedurally generated room, and you get to pick up different weapons as you go along. He was impressed with my play and was like, "Hey, you're doing pretty good," because I had watched other people play it. He said, "Let me give you a really fun gun." And he gave me this fantastic, massive gun. Like on the side of the screen, you'll see your ammo as a little box, and it deteriorates. When he gave me this one, the ammo filled the entire screen. I mean, it went off the edge of the screen. He's like, here you go. Just have fun. And my God, that was great to get that weapon. So Enter the Gungeon is another one that is something to look for. I believe that is also either on Steam now or is in early access or something. I know one of our guys who over at COG, Lecon, is actually playing it. So I know it's already out right now, but Enter the Gungeon, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just see it says coming to PS4 in 2015.
Yeah. Played a little bit of Homeworld Remastered.
Oh. I saw the the statue. I want that statue.
Yeah,
Like
that was
you-
fun. Did any of you guys watch the Gearbox panel?
No.
It was streamed on Twitch.
Didn't see it.
I didn't know this, but Randy Pitchford is apparently a magician. I am actually not kidding.
Oh,
He's a
like
street
actual-
magician.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, sleight of
Like
hand.
Neil Patrick
Yeah.
Harris.
He started doing street magic before he was working at Gearbox. So he did a trick on stage. If you can find this on Twitch, I would say go back and watch it. I don't really want to spoil the trick for you, but it was fascinating. I thought he was just going to do some stupid little thing, but this was like legitimate magic, man.
What was his name?
Randy Pitchford.
Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, Randy Pitchford.
Yeah. Google Randy Pitchford magic.
You probably would find a lot of stuff
Yeah.
there. Yeah. But no, that was fantastic. The little trick that he pulled off.
You never did play Homeworld when it first came out. Did
I
you?
never did. No, they had a
Oh,
screen. The way they
see.
had it set up, they had a screen of Homeworld Classic and a screen of Homeworld Remastered, and they started them almost at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I could look at Remastered, or I could look at the original and tell what was about to pop up on Remastered. So I could kind of compare as they went along, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Oh man, yeah, I'm so looking forward to that one. I've been looking on Amazon for the collectors, but
It's all sold out. These sold out like a year ago. Because I asked them, because they had the one I took a picture of. I was like,
What are you doing with that one?
how do I get a hold of that?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, these are we brought a few to give away here at the show, because they did give one away during the Gearbox panel. And I think they gave another one away during the Homeworld panel.
I posted in chat his trick.
Oh, good. Is that video?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wonderful. Take a look at that. That was fantastic. So, they pretty much embargoed everything I could tell you until the panel on Sunday. But I think everybody knows now when it comes out, the price.
It's on Steam.
Yeah, but it wasn't at the time. So he told me, he's like, tomorrow after the thing, we're going to announce that you can pre-order it. It's coming out in February. You'll get Homeworld 1 and Homeworld 2 Classics, and you'll get Homeworld 1 and Homeworld 2 Remastered. You'll also get access to the beta multiplayer, because the reason he said it's in beta is because they haven't been able to balance it out. They will not be able to balance it out until they get people playing it. Because you can play the multiplayer with either Homeworld 1 ships or Homeworld 2 ships.
Okay.
You can play with either of those ships. And they just haven't gotten the balance worked out. That's why they're calling it a beta, and it'll be in beta for a good while they work on all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the only way they can beta test it, is just go ahead and release it, is what they were telling me. So
I'm really enjoying this wave of remastered games. You know,
it is
between-
not Indigo Prophecy. We didn't talk about
yeah,
that, but Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Because I actually bought it when I was living in England, and I actually had the Fahrenheit version, which is the uncensored version of Indigo Prophecy, because it got censored here in the States. So I still have my UK uncensored Fahrenheit disc. But I mean, Fahrenheit's getting re-released and remastered. Between Homeworld, there's been the Grim Fandango, stuff like that. There's been a couple of them. I'm like, this is good times. These are, in my
really
opinion,
is.
proven games.
It was great. It was great to experience. That was my first experience with Homeworld.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, like I said, give you you never seen Grim Fandango or Homeworld a chance to do that. I mean, Nate, he's only 12, so he hasn't seen half the games out there. Yeah.
It was fun to see. I really didn't know what I was doing in Homeworld.
Okay.
From what they were telling me, he was like, okay, you need to attack these guys' fuel reserves, because all they're going to do is just keep going there and regenerating and coming back, whatever they were, these tiny
You
little
saw
ships.
Wrath of Khan, correct? Star
It's been a
Trek.
while, but yeah, I've seen it.
In the end, where they're in the nebula and everything, Spock mentions that Khan's thinking in 2 dimensions and everything. Homeworld's like that. You got to think in 3 dimensions, because you could take your mothership up, down, and that you could use dimensionality, on the y-axis as your to your advantage. And so most people, back in the day when we were playing it, they're just thinking on just the one plane. So when you come up, above people, like that scene in Star Trek, you got to think, in a 3-dimensional space. It's really interesting.
I can't say that I was thinking in any kind of 2-dimensional space. I mean, it felt like it was very 3-dimensional type situation. But they didn't have me. They were directing my play. I wasn't directing my play.
Okay.
They were telling me what to do. They were like, okay, go ahead and click and drag your mouse and select this group of ships. Now right-click on this group so they'll go attack. It wasn't like, okay, put your ships into position under them or put your ships over here or get into a position. Just go and attack them, let them attack. They just wanted to show off the engine. They just wanted to show off all the neat little stuff that it did. They didn't necessarily worry about, like, hey, we want to get you the mechanics of the game or anything. We don't want you to do that. They just wanted to show off the new stuff and to kind of talk about it. I talked with 3 guys who worked for Relic, who were there, talking about going back to their old code and having to revamp everything and do the remaster on it. And it was a lot of fun for them to do. They were very grateful, number one, that they were given the chance to do this.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, from everything that I know, you've got a lot of loyal followers out there who are looking forward to this.
Yeah, I just wish Cataclysm could have been, I think there's some issue with rights on that one. If that could have been added to it as well, that would have been wonderful.
But it was beautiful to see. What else did I see?
2 questions for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you see anything? I knew they were there, but did they do anything? Hotline Miami.
Hotline Miami was there, but they weren't doing anything with it.
Hotline Miami. What I thought.
Yeah, Hotline Miami was there. There was one station to play at the Devolver booth for Hotline Miami. In fact, there was one station to play for everything that was at Devolver's booth. But so yeah, it was there playable.
And what's one thing you didn't like?
A game that I did not like. Let me see. I don't know. Excuse me. I really can't tell you that there
Or
were.
it could be an event or something you just didn't like about PAX.
Something I didn't like about the new PAX.
Yeah.
I would even go back to say the size.
Just too small?
I loved the fact of the size that it was. I like the fact that anybody who wanted to go would have been able to go.
The crowd size was nice.
I didn't like the fact that there just wasn't that much to see on the show floor.
Yeah.
So I would say that.
I mean, didn't you say earlier that a lot of folks weren't going to come out anyway because of just a bad time?
The developers that I talked to, they were all telling me it was the bad timing for them to come out and do anything.
Yes.
They all said it just wasn't good timing. I mean, you've got PAX South in January, but a lot of people stagger what they're going to do to coordinate with E3. E3 is like your big one.
Right.
So some people will make announcements at PAX East, and then you'll have follow-ups at PAX or at E3. So to do something in January was like, what are we going to do in January? We're going to announce something in January and then show a teaser at East and then show a trailer at E3, or how are we going to do that? Mm-hmm. For a lot of people, they had already either released their game or they were prepping. They didn't have enough time to prep something to be shown at PAX South, and they needed to push that back to show it at PAX East or to E3 or whatever the case. The placement of where it is in the year is not, from what I had spoke to other developers, was not a good placement.
Maybe PAX South will develop more into the tabletop kind of gaming.
Who knows? I mean, they've got enough room to expand, and honestly, I believe that it is the crowd that'll draw the people, or that'll draw the publishers and the developers. Mm-hmm. The more people there who can see your game, the more people will want to be there to show their game. So I just think that the more people that go, hopefully it'll still get supported.
Well, like you said, it's the first one.
It is. It's the first one.
To me, it's not that big of a deal.
I need to tell
really
you.
Not expect.
Yeah,
it's
please don't let me come across as complaining. I'm not.
No, I know.
Yeah, I am not complaining about this, and I am not saying it was bad. I'm not saying anything like that. I think it was perfect. I think you people that got to experience it as your first time, I think you need to hold on to that, because I don't think it's going to last. It's just going to get bigger and harder to attend, and as with the way all PAX goes. However, with them building a brand new convention center on top of this one, maybe they'll be allowed to have a lot more people come to PAX South. So that's something that's very possible. Matt, I wanted to alert your attention and to anybody else to a game called Star Mazer.
Okay.
It is on Kickstarter. If you could look that up real quick and post it in the chat room. This guy did not have... He had a section on the show floor, but he had nothing playable. He only had a video because he just had nothing ready to go. But he had just launched it on Kickstarter. It is a combination of like a shmup and a point and click.
Really?
Yes. It's got very much... The point and click aspects are very LucasArts, and the shmups are very whatever shmups could be. Some good shmups. So... check that out. Star Mazer is the game. He's already posted the link in the chat room, so
Thank you, Nick.
get a look at that. It was one I was very impressed with and loved to see. And the guy was so excited about it. He didn't have a voice because it was already gone by that time, but he was very excited about it. Let's see. I talked with the guys at Indie Box. What is it called?
Indie Box.
Yes.
Yes.
I talked with Liv from Indie Box.
Yeah.
Who used to be in radio herself.
Oh, wow.
And was very excited to talk to me about that. So we're going to have them on.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I've seen the Star Mazer. I saw a thing on it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely had caught my eye. I forgot the name of it though. So thanks.
Yeah. So yes, that was fun to talk to them.
Cool. Yeah, man, I forgot to ask you that.
Yeah. Well, somebody had tweeted about it, and I said, yeah, I need to get over there and see that. And Liv saw it, and she's like, yes, come by and ask for me. And so I did, and we talked, and she told me about all the stuff that you get with this thing, which is really cool.
They're
It's
neat.
basically, Indie Box is basically, it takes indie games and makes box copies.
Correct.
For anybody that wants that sort of thing. It comes with the activation keys.
It's essentially like getting a collector's edition of the game. You get a bunch of little knickknacks and stuff, like you get a T-shirt, a little item.
Have you
from the
already
game.
signed up for it? Are you part of it or no?
No, I haven't gotten
Okay.
one. No.
Yeah.
But I always see all their stuff.
They have one for a game that we've talked about here called Forced. They have a box copy of that. But I really liked what they were doing, and she was very excited and very thrilled to be talking to me about it. So
Yeah, I mean, I had got in touch with them like 4 or 5 months ago, and they seemed really cool.
Yeah. Who else did I talk to out there? I talked to Extra Life.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes. We are one step away from having a 24-hour broadcast. Extra Life is completely behind it. They have
Sweet.
they have stuff for people who are in broadcasting and want to do a 24-hour broadcast. They have segments that they can send us so that, when we want to take an hour and a half break, pop in that segment and let it play and talk about the thing so we can go do whatever. But they've got stuff for people who want to do that. And they are they are fine with us doing it, and all they await now is for me to get the go ahead.
Kind of the most important part.
Right. I wanted to see if that was something that Extra Life would be behind, and they said sure, and I said okay, well that's great. Let me now talk to my boss and find out if we can do a 24-hour broadcast in October to support Extra Life. That is looking extremely likely to happen.
I'll be game.
So all of you here, make sure that you guys can do a 24-hour.
Would it be on a Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
We would. I don't know when we would necessarily start, but like Saturday morning, sometime Saturday morning, and end it sometime Sunday morning.
Okay.
And go through the entire thing. So yeah. There's W. Matthew. How in the hell would you convince your station to allow that? Well, W. Matthew, for one, it's charity.
Yeah.
That's the big one.
Publicity too.
That's the big one. Number two, I don't necessarily know that we've ever done a 24-hour broadcast from this station.
Challenge of just seeing it.
We've done some late night broadcast, and we've done because during snowstorms, or the one snowstorm we had, but during tornadoes and really bad weather, we've done broadcasts before to make coverage of that. But a 24-hour broadcast strictly for Children's Miracle Network charity type stuff, I don't think we've ever done that before. So to answer your question, how would you convince your station to allow that? Convinced them to give us this show to begin with.
Yeah. So that already is a step in the right direction.
So we'll see how well we can do that for a 24-hour broadcast. I really think we'll be able to make it happen. So looking forward to that. That was also great to do. I guess that would be it for my PAX South stuff. They had a classic arcade room, but not a lot. There was all fighting games. So RJ, you'd have been in heaven. But it was all fighting games, with the exception of like 3 pinball machines and a couple of racing games. Hydra Thunder.
Were the games in like the actual old school
cabinets?
arcade?
Yeah,
Cabinets,
Okay.
yeah.
They were all cabinets.
Yeah.
Problem with that though was that I started playing Mortal Kombat 2, and I got lucky in picking the controller that I had because some guy else was like, "Okay, I'll play," and he hit the start button. He started playing as Melina, I think. I was Sub-Zero because that's the only. No, I was Scorpion.
Scorpion. Okay.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero are the only 2 guys whose moves I can remember. Down to front, low punch for ice.
Yep.
Front, high punch for spear.
Spear, yep.
And then down to back and high punch for your teleport punch for Scorpion. That's like all I can remember. Oh, and the slide. That stupid slide from Sub-Zero was always fun.
I love the slide, especially when I blocked it.
But nobody would because you do the ice on the ground to trip him up, uppercut, slide. Because you couldn't block it in 2.
No, you juggle, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good juggle that you could do in 2.
Yeah.
It was also the cheapest move you could do in 2, and I got plenty of people getting mad at me for doing that.
Well, look, like I've always said, if you're
But
not,
once they got through that, I was toast. I was dead.
so like I've always said, look, we've always said in fighting games, if you're not ticking someone off, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. But the other controller was he couldn't duck. He couldn't do a jump with it because the controller was all screwed up. That was my problem with that was my problem with this arcade room. All the stuff was kind of in bad shape.
Disrepair, yeah.
All 3 pinball machines wouldn't work.
Yeah. Final Round has a little arcade room. Someone brings his equipment there every year, and it's always in top-notch condition, no matter how old it is. He knows how to keep up with his equipment.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much how it went for me on that one. So let me. I'm trying to set up the hour here. Yeah, should probably do this.
Quick question:
before we
how'd your
go.
tournament go, RJ?
You had a tournament?
Or did you not play it, or you just went?
So we just know the tournament's not until March. The one I'm working on, the final round,
the one at Retro Game Plant.
Oh, you did Retro.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. I got 7th. I got 7th place out of that one. Winners was our local talent. Rocky got first. He took home $100. And then Maurice, who goes all around the Southeast and everywhere for his tournaments, he got 2nd place. It was him and Rocky was in the finals. He got $50, and a 3rd player, a friend of ours, No, got 3rd, took home 25. It was a good turnout overall. I think about 18, 19 folks showed up for it. There was someone selling Girl Scout cookies there, so we were kind of distracted from there.
I saw.
But yeah, it was a real good time all around. So when they have it again, I'll probably be there again.
All right, folks. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Mega Man tells us that it's time to go. Thanks, everybody, for joining us in the chat room and everybody listening on the stream. Thanks to everybody who grabs us each week from iTunes or however you get our show for later use. We really appreciate it. Go to ingamechat.net. Join us on Twitter, Facebook, our forums at colonyofgamers.com. Subscribe to our Twitch feed. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're on Steam, we've got a Steam group. Join up with us over there and play with us and other listeners with games. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. We will see you next Saturday.